So the village of Dalton, Illinois just had their normal board meeting, and Nate the lawyer is gonna do a recap on it. It was crazy. I was watching it or listening to it while I was working, and it just went so long. I just wanted to wait for someone to cut this thing up. It was crazy. So let's check this out.
Okay, last night in Dalton was insane. First, the village trustees had to freeze the village's credit cards because things are going out of control.
Motion to approve an ordinance amending the village credit card policy. B, a motion to approve an ordinance declaring a village credit card spending freeze.
The trustees also are trying to sell some of the village's property to raise funds.
At the end of the day, we have to be realistic. Realistic is there's no more money. Anything we can sell, we need to sell it. If you want to get outside, we'll sell you too.
The trustees are even returning all the lease vehicles that Tiffany Henyard got so she can ride around in style.
The leases, we spend roughly, it started in 2022, December 2022, all of 2023, and we're in the middle of 2024. We've spent almost $250 some odd $1,000 on these vehicles. If we keep the lease for the 5 years, which is 60 months, we will be spending $718,000. That's with the cost of and interest. We cannot afford that. So I'm asking that we look into the legal ramification of returning the vehicles because most of them were signed without proper authority anyway. So my discussion is to place this for a committee of the whole to move forward and looking to see how we can return those 3 Chevy Tahoes and 1 Expedition.
The village.
So the deal with those 4 vehicles are solely for the mayor, Tiffany Henyard, police protection detail. That's what those 4 vehicles are for. The context of this is she's the mayor over a town of 20-something thousand people. She got 4 of these expensive vehicles with the village police protecting her in these vehicles 24 hours a day, costing all this money to this little village. 20,000 people in a village from taxpayers, and the average salary other people in the village is like below the poverty line. It's like 23,000 or something like that. So it's plausible to understand why they would want to send these vehicles back.
Board even had to lay off a whole bunch of employees because there's no money to make payroll.
All right, so the layoffs are due to financial issues that the village of Dalton has. I did mention already that managers who may have spoken up asked that we do not include their names for fear of retaliation. So there's trying to insinuate that Freeman is the one that gave us is incorrect. This decision came about because our finance consultant, the CPA firm, let us know that we are in dire need and layoffs need to happen. This is I hate to say this because I don't want to cause a big panic, but this is a starting point.
And Tiffany Henyard's right-hand man has flipped and become a whistleblower against the mayor.
Henyard is planning to fire her top aide, Keith Freeman, who pleaded not guilty earlier this year to a bankruptcy fraud charge. Last month, Henyard fired him from Thornton Township, the other government she runs. But the trustees say they won't allow tonight's firing to happen because they say Freeman is doing the village's work, and they now consider him to be a whistleblower.
Compared to the prior year.
And those trustees say firing a potential whistleblower sets them up for yet another lawsuit, and that is something the village simply cannot afford.
So we have a lot to talk about. Now, many of you know I was a cop, a prosecutor, law professor, and now a legal commentator here on YouTube. And my cases have been covered in the national media, like this story in the New York Times. Now, many people message me asking me for legal help, so I gathered the best legal team in the country to help you. Now, if you've been injured in an accident, visit us at NateTheLawyer.com or contact us at 571-NATE-LAW. We handle many different types of cases, from hair relaxers that contain harmful chemicals like formaldehyde, or if you're a first responder who is using the aqueous film-forming foam that's been linked to cancer, you should contact us as soon as possible. Now, we specialize in accidents, medical malpractice, and defective drugs and products. So why choose my firm? Well, the consultation is free, the advice is free, and we only get paid if we recover on your behalf. Our experts will guide you through the process and simplify everything to make it easy for you to understand. So visit NateTheLawyer.com or call the number on the screen to speak to a legal professional today. Okay, welcome to the village of Dalton, Illinois, population 21,000 people. This is a story I've been covering for about a year now, and this story has just gone insane. Meet the mayor, Tiffany Henyard. Now, Tiffany Henyard has been called the worst mayor in America. Now, before she was mayor, Tiffany was running a burger joint. Here is the intro to my last video that kind of sums up her transition from running a burger joint and food truck to becoming the most powerful woman in the South Side of Chicago.
Hi, Sharks. I'm Tiffany Henyard from Chicago, Illinois. I'm currently the owner of Tiffany's Good Burger and Soul Food, located at 634 Burnham in Calumet City, Illinois. Our phone number is 708-801-9980. And for those who's trying to find us, you can track our food truck or follow us on Twitter. Just go to our website, loveagoodburger.com. Again, that is loveagoodburger.com.
Now, you know that's not fair, sneaking up on a man when he's eating a Tiffany juicy burger. But seeing that you're here, let me just fill you in. When a man get to hold a burger like this in his hand, this is like heaven.
A few moments later.
Congratulations, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Tiffany Henyard was sworn in as Dalton's first female mayor. At 37, she's also Dalton's youngest.
Well, we're moving on up to the side, to the deluxe apartments in the sky. Moving on up to the
So the new mayor went on a spending spree. Everything from having her own stylist.
Questions are also being raised about Henyard using taxpayer dollars for personal expenses, including her makeup artist. This itemized payroll sheet for the township from May of last year lists Brandon Moman as an administrative assistant. But when we reached out to him, he told us he's Henyard's makeup artist.
Now, because the money is obviously funny, the FBI then started investigating and sent subpoenas to Dalton to find out what's going on with these public funds.
WGN Investigates has obtained or reviewed subpoenas the FBI served to Thornton Township and Dalton. They serve as a roadmap to the ongoing federal investigation. They seek payment and expense records for Tiffany Henyard, as well as her boyfriend, who runs a violence prevention program for the township. Also named, Henyard's top aide, Dalton's acting police chief, along with 4 village and township trustees and 2 of Henyard's relatives who are on the government payroll.
So now it's important to note that when Tiffany Henyard became mayor, the village had a surplus, but now the village has a monster deficit. It's so bad that they may not be able to make payroll before the end of September. Do you understand that? They don't have enough money to pay police, firefighters, and everyone who works in the village to keep the town running. They don't have enough money to make payroll through the end of September. That's the first big bombshell that came out at last night's meeting.
Now we're forced to sit here and take money out of an account that we really shouldn't be taking money out of because we at that rainy day part, where we're barely gonna see if we can make payroll through the end of September. So while everybody's sitting up here talking about we've been lying, they lying, I ain't took no first class flight. It's a warrant list to have. We didn't pay for the township conference.
So the board had no choice but then to start making some extreme cuts to services. For instance, they started laying off employees because they simply couldn't pay them because there's no money. Henyard has spent essentially all the money and they can't make payroll. Now, one of the people who were also put on administrative leave was the police chief and Henyard's top bulldog, Chief Lacey.
The trustees also plan to vote to place Dalton's deputy police chief, Lewis Lacey, on administrative leave, pending an investigation into what they call improper actions. Lacey accused of doing the mayor's bidding. He declined to comment on tonight's vote.
So now some of Henyard's closest confidants were also placed on the chopping block because they were given hookups by Henyard to work for the village. Here is the director of housing who was given a hookup by Henyard so he can have a nice cushy job, and the village trustees fired him. And he didn't take it lying down. He got really, really, really upset. Here's what he had to say.
I just want to just share, my name was on that list, and I can say as department heads, and you can celebrate that, because my God shall supply all of my needs according to his riches and glory by Christ Jesus. And I know that there's a lot of people here that go to church but have not gone to God. Let me admonish you. Let me admonish this board.
Now, as you can see, this meeting was pretty crazy. Now, two other things happened in this meeting that I think I need to just address. Number one, there was a police sign put in front of a building that they wanted to convert into a new police precinct. And the village of Dalton said they spent $50,000 on that police sign. Let's hear Tiffany Henyard explain, or the police chief explain, how they spent $50,000 on a sign they put in front of the building declaring it's the police department.
But as trustees, our goal is to look at finances and see how we can financially benefit. So at this moment, it's just costing us and costing us and costing us. Even that sign on it, that was about $50,000. We can't continue to spend money when we're here today trying to make a transfer just so we can pay the bills. It's unfair, it's a lack of prioritizing, and it makes no sense.
So the sign was $50,000 for a sign. But the mayor thinks that's okay because it came out of a different account. She really thinks it's okay to pay $50,000 for the sign. Here she is talking about it.
And then also, when they purchased the sign, Chief Lacey, what account did it come out of? Because when they tell you stuff, they don't tell you where money come from, what account, or how they was able to afford a sign and turn it into a police station. Now, if you could tell them how we paid for the sign.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The sign was paid for out of asset forfeiture. We have a state and a federal. It was recently brought to one of my commander's attention that said that our asset forfeiture was dried up. Our asset forfeiture is not dried up. We still utilize our asset forfeiture, and money is still being put into asset forfeiture. That being said, that's what that money was used for that.
So yeah, one sign, $50,000, and they think they're justified for a $50,000 sign, which is, again, insanity. Now, this brings us to our final bombshell. Now, last night when I was watching the board meeting, I thought that Henyard had already fired Keith Freeman, but that was not the case. See,
so again, knowing all the parameters that Nate the lawyer has laid out, shout out to Nate the lawyer, and the things that I know and the things that I've seen, one sign, $50,000. In the past, Tiffany has put up, I don't know what they're called. They're flags that hang from light posts or something like that. $20,000 of signs with just her face on it. We can just do these type of things, but I think these type of things have always been done in government, but due to the fact that she's doing these things so blatantly and so out in the open, they're being brought to the light, but nobody's doing anything about these type of things until now. Cat Williams said, all truth will be exposed in 2024. And what are we? We're in the 8th month right now. Hopefully this continues in 2025.
Keith Freeman was Henyard's number 2 in Thornton Township and in Dalton. So he was essentially her number 2, running everything. She's Batman, he's Robin. But then the feds hit Freeman with a bankruptcy fraud indictment, and Keith Freeman, seeing the writing on the wall, he's in FBI subpoenas and everything, he then flipped on Henyard. He flipped in Thornton and he flipped in Dalton, becoming a whistleblower, giving all of the documents needed to show what's actually going on behind the scenes. So Henyard fired Freeman from Thornton Township, but then attempted to fire him from Dalton. But the issue with Dalton is Freeman is now a whistleblower. He's now exposing her corruption, and now they can't fire him because you can't fire a whistleblower while the person is exposing corruption behind the scenes. That's why this news report says the trustees refused to fire Freeman at this time because technically he's flipped. He's a whistleblower now.
After that, Henyard is planning to fire her top aide, Keith Freeman, who pleaded not guilty earlier this year to a bankruptcy fraud charge. Last month, Henyard fired him from Thornton Township, the other government she runs. But the trustees say they won't allow tonight's firing to happen because they say Freeman is doing the village's work, and they now consider him to be a whistleblower.
Compared to the prior year.
And those trustees say firing a potential whistleblower sets them up for yet another lawsuit, and that is something the village simply cannot afford.
So Henyard thought she saw an opportunity here. She now is saying that Freeman was secretly really working with the trustees to steal money from the village. So she put on the agenda the firing of Keith Freeman, knowing that Freeman is giving information to both the authorities and to the trustees about all the corruption that's going on behind the scenes. So she now puts it out in front of the trustees, hey, we're going to fire Freeman and I want you guys to vote on it. And the trustees obviously refuse because they know that Henyard is panicking.
Going straight to Keith Freeman. So, Board of Trustees, what do you want to do?
I have a question because you said he's terminated. So what? Why are we?
Oh, wait, hold on. Cause y'all always say, because y'all always say that I don't come to y'all. Hold on. We're gonna play the little silly game right now. So I put it on the agenda because he got terminated already, but everybody inserted themselves in the business of the mayor, right? So everybody inserted themselves. They send letters out. They let him do all this little finicky stuff, send emails out to the staff, all kinds of stuff. He knows this. They all know that because they wrote their names on it. So they kept saying, you got to bring it to the board. You got to put it on the agenda. So what I do, it's on the agenda. So that's why I asked that. So why would you ask that redundant question of talking about why I'm asking y'all? You guys asked me to put it on the agenda. It is on the agenda because we wanted your input, your opinion, right? So it's on the agenda for your input and your opinion because you kept saying that you guys have to vote on it. Is that not what y'all kept saying? Y'all say y'all got to vote on it. So here we are. So, Board of Trustees, is there a motion to terminate Keith Freeman? Dun, dun, dun. There y'all go. What we doing? Is there a motion to terminate Keith Freeman? What we doing? Y'all gotta huddle up. Y'all gotta huddle up real quick. We're gonna take a 3 seconds. Hey, what we doing?
You want to discuss?
What y'all want to do? Y'all have to talk about it and get.
She's not even understanding the law. Once you get whistleblower status, he can't get fired. And look at all this pomp and circumstance and all this show that she's doing right now. Just watch this.
You got the it. Y'all doing signals across the room. What we doing? Y'all motioning here up. What we doing?
Look at this.
Y'all quiet. Y'all quiet as a church mouse, as I say. What's going on right now?
She is feeling the heat and she is in the kitchen. The oven is on in July when it's 92 degrees.
I know right.
At 9:52 p.m.
That's a shame. That's a shame. So I'm gonna remember this because at the end of the day, I told you, you guys don't run the day to day. The mayor does. So, Keith Freeman, I know you watching. You no longer works for the Village of Dalton. Please turn in your keys, turn in all your stuff.
Look at
HR
her.
reach out
She
to you tomorrow
panicking.
as relates to your fire.
So as you
She
can see,
is-
Keith Freeman is fired. Henyard has fired him even though he is a whistleblower because obviously she's trying to stop the bleeding. As long as he keeps cooperating with the trustees and the authorities, he is a liability and she needs to stop him from continuing to do that. Now, join us Thursday at 6:30 because we get to see the Lightfoot report. She has spoken to these certified public accountants. They have given her all of the village's finances, so we get to see what's actually been going on for the past 2 years. No more speculation, no more innuendo. We get to see the actual numbers, and that's what the trustees have. That's why they've had to do these layoffs and firings, because they now know the real state of affairs. So join us Thursday to see what's going on with the Henyard situation. And if you want,
and we will be there for it. Let's get it.